How's it going, everybody? As the Daybreak Show continues on, I am happy to continue some candidate conversations, and it's good to get some candidates in here running for Shelton City Council. Current City Council member Joe Schmit is running again for council position number 6. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to talk with you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's been a long year for
that's
folks, and it's been a long time for you in the seat at the council. Let's talk about how it started. You were one of the new seats that came about when we expanded.
Council 1.0.
Yeah.
Yes.
So talk to me about how it's been, and then we'll kind of move into the future.
Yes, it's been great. You know, the last 2.5 years, going on 3 years now, has been just a whirlwind of change at the city. I mean, basically, counterparts and myself, we've had to work to, hire a city manager and kind of right the ship on with personnel. We've got a great staff right now. We really do. City manager on down. We've got some really hardworking people at the city. So now it's keep them there. Let's keep them there, and let's get the vision in focus and continue on. But yeah, it's been great the last few years. We've really gotten to a point now as a council where we're kind of all in a groove. We're working well together. We don't always agree on everything. I think you guys have seen some of that in recent meetings and things like that. Some no votes, a little bit of splits on things there, here and there. But how everybody's arriving at their decisions is through data, through information, through talking to folks in the community. And to be part of that has been just awesome. It's just been a great experience.
Coming in, fiscally, the footing for the city was a little rough.
Yes.
I mean, we were facing some pretty hard decisions.
Yeah.
Do you think you guys have turned, like you mentioned, turning the ship around and we're on a better footing moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. We still do have general fund revenue challenges like any other city in the state of Washington or even on the West Coast. But we've got an absolute top-notch finance division led by Aaron B. Miller. Just been absolutely great to get folks like that on board and to really lead that charge. I mean, we've refunded bond debt to the tune of about $2 million. So those things that we've had, kind of hanging out there, we're making those strides. Our books are balanced. We're paying our bills. We've got a little bit of money in the bank, and which is allowing us to then look towards the future, 5, 6, 10 years down the road, where, how do we invest those funds to make Shelton a community where people want to live, where, families want to be and, grow up, and businesses want to open and prosper for the long haul. So
from your side as a councilman, and you're looking towards the city and to the business community, how would you say and rate the city's relationship with the business community?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think we've got and I think that a lot of that comes from the council, because several council members are either small business owners. Deputy Mayor Peterson works for the Chamber of Commerce, right? So she has her finger on the pulse of the business community. And, not all of us are business owners. Not all of us work at the Chamber or for those types of organizations. So that's a good mix, So you have folks that, work in other sectors. We put our collective heads together. And so when we have those discussions, we're always looking at ways to make doing business with the city more efficient, simpler, cheaper whenever we can. Some things that we've done over the last couple of years with, online bill pay, we're working towards online permitting, and, those are things that, businesses, I gotta absolutely believe they're clamoring for, right?
Sure.
And it'll help them get their projects moving forward quicker, and, time is money, and, and that's a great thing to be thinking about.
We'd love to see all around town more businesses pop up. Unfortunately, some of the other realities of the downtown businesses are seeing an increase in the homeless population. On our morning walks before the show, we kind of do a look around the city and see what's going on. We see often people sleeping in the doorways of these businesses. It's a persistent issue. It's a long time issue. What are we gonna do about it? What's the city looking at in ways to either bring in the business community, go at it alone, or what are you guys talking about?
Well, definitely can't solve that problem alone.
Right.
No way. It's a national crisis. And personally, everything that I've researched in the last 3 years on this topic has really pointed at housing. housing. And we have been so motivated to kind of crack that egg and get some housing projects going, various shapes and sizes. We have some surplus property that we're looking to turn into, an affordable housing opportunity for our folks that are struggling. But absolutely, I firmly believe the way out of homelessness is affordable housing. And right now, a lot of people are being priced out of their rents in the community. A lot of people can't afford, can barely afford their rent burdened, or they're burdened by those costs. 50% or greater of what they take home in a paycheck is going to their housing payment, right? And which means then other things have to give, right? And in some cases, when they have that catastrophic, situation, car breaks down, they're making really difficult decisions. And my heart goes out to those folks. And I think back to when I moved to Shelton, getting ready to start my family in 2008 at the housing market crash,
Right.
and oh my gosh, what am I thinking? My house was about $150,000, and if you look at what it's worth today in the city limits, same house, same neighborhood, there's no way I would have been able to afford that on my salary. Which means, and the part for me making it personal is, would I have 2 kids, and would we have the dog and the white picket fence? Would we be living that dream right now? And I don't think we would. I think it'd be significantly delayed at least. And so motivated to really figure out how do we work together to get those folks off the street, to get them into some sort of permanent supportive housing. A lot of it stems back to as well, mental health and substance abuse issues. We know those are strained resources in our community. So again, it's a complex issue, but we all need to be at the table working on that.
If the voters decide to bring you back for another 4 years at the City Council position 6, what would be a wish list that you'd like to see get through? What would you like to see Shelton be like at the end of those 4 years with the family here? More opportunities for parks, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, community life is huge. I think we all kind of recognize the history of our town. Timber Town, Christmas Town. We've definitely been really focusing on that. But I think it's really defining that sense of place, right? And is this a community that, like I was kind of talking about earlier, is this a community that families want to come and our school district is improving. They've invested a ton of money into our school district. I mean, those are things that families are looking at when they want to move here, right? Do we have strong, sound schools? Do we have infrastructure? Do we have nice, clean parks and communities? Those types of things. So really, my wish list is really to define that sense of community, that sense of place in the city of Shelton, and to kind of continue to bring those visions that the folks in the community have been bringing forward. Downtown visioning plan. That was established several years ago is really bringing some of that stuff into focus. We've got the Olympic Highway and the roundabout, and now we're talking about the Shelton Gateway. So getting people off the highway, and when they come down Railroad, there's Shelton, right? And it's very clear what our community is all about and the spirit behind all of that. So I'm excited to work on those types of things, but housing's pretty dang important right now.
Yeah. Are you going to be on the primary?
I'm not. I will be general only.
So here's the deal, folks. Because Joe, he does have an opponent, but only one other opponent.
Correct.
So both of those names will be on the general election in November. So you won't have an opportunity to vote for the Councilmember 6 position in August, but it will be there for the November election.
Correct.
Joe Schmit, good to see you. Thank you so
too.
much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.